Okay, so it's just a little after 4, and I just was looking at some videos, and it's just like, man, it feels like confirmation over stuff that I say, and the uh, oh yeah, and there's a whole bunch of shit going on. It's weird, but let me see where I'm starting with. Okay, I'm gonna do this, get this out of the way, because I think it's about a week of that new biotin stuff, so you guys can watch and see. Because it's like 3 weeks where they say you see a big difference, and all these girls show this like massive amount of hair. So we'll see. Um, and let's look at my tooth. It is really sensitive. And yesterday I was feeling it last night, and I was like, it feels like a big chunk is out of it. But one thing I noticed is the part that where the dentist had like taken the sharp part and kind of shaved it, it's changed now again. It's like more sharp parts. So it's growing, it's changing. So anyways, is but it takes a while. Like, but another thing I saw about teeth is it showed an X-ray, and it said that humans have a third set of teeth that you have to have a higher vibration to access them. So see, everything is them holding us out of this vibration. But this video I had just seen too is confirmation over something I've been talking about for a long ass time. Because I said that our natural way of talking was through telepathy, that they created the language to so they could control our conversations. And not only that, there's people who look at all this stuff and say, you know, like we're setting spells and stuff. Like it's very manipulative how they have us talk. And but the other thing too, what I was thinking is I think that they had to develop a language because they couldn't know what we were talking about and thinking about and stuff, because I don't think they have the same abilities with telepathy as we do, because you have to be kind of tuned into your emotions, you have to be kind of tuned into yourself, and that is what they're lacking. They are like emotionally bankrupt. It's like they don't really have emotions to pull on. And it's like I've said, it's like that's what they like watch us for and stuff. Like, I don't know, they see it as a weakness. Like that we care is a weakness. Because for one thing, this isn't even our real life. Like, we do get a little caught up. So, but anyways, but they manipulate that too. They get us to see. But anyways, so this girl's video who I was watching, and it's so crazy because all these people, they don't trust, like things are freaking them out. Things are freaking them out, and then they don't trust themselves to just be confident, go out and say, you know, just like you have like, well, Archangel Michael, well, you know, the Galactic Federation, they told me, like everybody's got to be like, give it some validity. I even, that Jack Prozibiak, whatever, his show was starting when I was up there. Anyway, starts it with Trump talking about how much he likes Jack. Where is Jack? I gotta see you, Jack. Where are you? I love you, Jack, and all this stuff. I was like, well, that's a little bit of a passive name dropping, isn't it, to start your show? Like, hey, look, this guy likes me. Everybody should. I was like, that's a little, I don't know. Some things, it just kind of weirds me out. And so so this girl, she's watching this show. She's in her bedroom, her husband's in the living room, and her daughter's like in the kitchen or something. And she's watching this show about Babylon and language and stuff like that. And then back when we, a long time ago, that's how we communicated. That's our natural way of communication, is through telepathy, which I've been saying for a long time. And I've also been saying, because they keep your mind going so fast, you know, you got to learn how to slow it down. And they've created such a blank space in so many of these kids. There's such a deficit in their development stages that it's kind of like they need to go back and be kids again. And so man, there's a lot going on. And the Department of Education is being shown like how they failed all through all of this stuff. So, anyways, I bet you still have the people freaking out. Oh my God, he's gonna end education? Are you kidding me? And it's like, I can't wait, man, because it's fucking corrupt as a motherfucker. It is money siphoning motherfucking bullshit. I'm just like, fucking bullshit. And they found another, like how they find these weird organizations that don't really exist, but they just pay people, like USAID. Now they found another one, USIP or some bullshit, and just dumping money. But there was certain people who were getting paid off of that, like Chelsea Clinton. She's making some bank. So all these people, it's so fucking corrupt. And I'm so glad to have somebody finally go in there just fucking with their wrecking ball, knocking shit down. And these people that can't see, crying, oh my God, he's ruining the world. There's videos that are out there still. Like, these people are so whacked out on reality. It's like they're so lost. And it's like, what is your here and now? What is right in front of you? These people are freaking out. They're rounding people up. They're just taking them right out of their arms. They're taking them down, gizmos full. They're just, the Holocaust, he's just crazy dictator. All this stuff. It's like, oh my God, you guys are not paying attention. And just ironically, a little sidebar there, he talks every motherfucking day. Every motherfucking day. He's on the fucking TV talking, just like he did all through the fucking quarantine, where that's where I caught on. It's like, you guys have the opportunity to go listen to him, but you're going to listen to the news because the news told you. Is it hardly, oh, what the news said? It's like, change the motherfucking channel. And, I was telling that to my mom, and she was like, oh, yeah, I learned about that a long time ago. But I'm thinking, yeah, but you're also, yeah, they got their own wheel a-churning on yours, too. And, you got to notice when you're having all this emotional withdrawal of your energy and stuff. And because on theirs, like yesterday, every time I went up, it was like they're fucking blowing up Teslas and shit. And I was like, well, I don't know. I haven't seen any Teslas get blown up. I don't fucking know. But on there, it's like, those motherfuckers need to go to prison. They're fucking blowing up. They're doing this. They're doing that. It's like, oh my God, this is so crazy. And you listen on this fucking their pride, and listen to that. Blah. They're all just like, man. It's like, oh God, you guys calm down. Like, Jesus Christ. And I swear to God, one group it's like everyone wants to control. It's like, Jesus fucking Christ. Fucking simmer down. And but on this telepathy thing. So this chick is sitting in there and she's like, well, I wonder if I try telepathy. I'm going to try it. And what did I also say? Is this is all stuff from my own experience. This isn't stuff like, when I hear stuff like this is like, oh, see, confirmation. This is what and I've said, like, when you want to talk to somebody directly, like, say I want to talk to Jim. Now it's like, I'm going to focus on their face. I'm going to focus on their name, and I'm going to, usually I'll say their name, like you're calling out to them, hey, hey, hey. So you're hollering at them. And then, and I swear to God, it's like 3 times. It's like, it's like a natural thing or something. And see, and hers was 3 times. Because she said she did it, and then she waited a second, then she did it 2 more times. And to me, it's like, you just picture them and you start talking. And then it's like, I don't know, your energy makes like a little space into their energy or something. And so then you can communicate whatever it is that you're trying to communicate. You can tell them, and then the thing is you don't know always how they're receiving. So if you're trying to give something complex, it can come over in pictures. And if their mind is just going all over the place and they're not slowed down and thinking and stuff, then it just will go into the blender, I think. Not everybody is completely receptive to telepathy because they're so confused by all the noise in their mind and they don't know how to slow it down and listen. And, but we're at this time of learning. But anyway, so she sat in there, and so she decided she was gonna holler at her husband through her mind. And so she said his name, and she waited a second, and then she said it 2 more times. And then in the living room, all of a sudden, he hollers out, "Huh?" And then the daughter's like, "What did you say huh for?" And then the mom, she's like, "Yeah, weird." So she said, "What'd you say huh for?" So she said it again. She said it. The daughter, both of them asked him. He said, "Well, you were just calling me." And she just burst into tears because she was just like, "Oh my gosh, he could hear me." I wasn't saying it out loud, I was saying it in his mind. But that is true. That's why I said start noticing, start practicing with people in your general vicinity when you have access to be able to talk to other people. But one thing I've noticed, like my mom and my kids and stuff, they're very psychic. Like they can pick up on stuff. Right now, there's so much noise. I don't know. I know I've had conversations with different daughters and stuff. So I know that they have communicated back, but they may be just, thinking that they're thinking about something. They may not be thinking like, well, I just, communicated this or something. But they happen all the time, and people just don't realize it. Like you don't have to sit there and holler out their name, "Hey, hey, hey." You don't have to do that. You can also just you send it because you'll focus on them. Like when you're thinking about something with somebody, you'll focus on them, picture them, or whatever it is you do. And that right there focuses the energy, and then the strength of your energy goes out, whatever it is you're feeling or thinking or whatever. And you'll pick up on it. And I'm telling you, we walk through stores and you think, okay, because like they've told people before, because the people that go to the doctor say, and they say, "Oh my gosh, I walk through the store and I hear people thinking, I hear people saying stuff," and they'll be like, "That's not really happening. That's all in your mind. That's not real. We're gonna put you on this little magic thing right here. It's gonna make you all better," and really, it just causes more problems. Like we got to get off of all their chemicals. And but that it is uh, you can you can hear people's thoughts way more than people have any idea. Like you can walk past somebody. What I've noticed is some people you could go past and they'll judge you, but some people you can go past and they'll judge themselves. So there's like a natural instinct kind of to compare yourself all the time. And I don't know, that could be like a girl thing too. And it could be, if you go past somebody and they're just like the same as you, but it was when somebody is different, like, when you're taller, then you are taller than lots of girls. So, you can go past a girl and she can be thinking, "I wish I was taller," or "I like that. I wish I was taller, could wear that," or "I wish that I could, oh, she looks so weird. I wonder what it's like to be so tall and have your head move." You know what I mean? So it's all whatever their perception is, how they perceive the world, they're thinking it, and they're perceiving as we all interact. And you can hear people perceiving, I'm telling you. And I think it's going to get better when people start realizing. When people is like, there's going to be this thing. It's got to be close. Man, the energy is so fuck. God damn. Yesterday, I was like, fuck, I was so tired. It's so exhausting. And then it's just like, I swear to God, I hear weird noises all the time. It's so exhausting. And so I swear to God, I go and take naps all the time. And the and then I know that could be like, well, that's why you're not sleeping at night. But it's not like it's noisy. It's like it's so fucking noisy. Like I can just hear all this shit. I can hear things repeat, repeat, repeat. It's like, oh my God. This is so, I can't relax. I can't just go to sleep. And so then it'll seem like, fuck, I'm just up all night, just sitting here thinking, listening to things uh, like my mom calling her pets and having a little, like where you say their name, but then you say like Lolly Dolly, come on, Lolly Dolly, and stuff like that. And it's like, I just kept hearing it and hearing it. And here it's like, shut up, what the fuck, man? And it just felt so intense. I couldn't get comfortable. I was like moving and moving, and I couldn't get comfortable. But then I'll get woke up and I'll be like, oh my God, so I'm asleep, but it doesn't seem like I'm asleep, but I'm in some kind of wavelength, which the other day when I was talking about those different wavelengths of trying to get yourself to be in a slower one, the another one is alpha. So there's alpha, beta, I think zeta. I don't know. Maybe that's some sorority or something. But anyways, you get gamma. But you can look up these waves, and I don't know which one you want to get into for meditation. But really, you're literally just slowing your brain down so that you can start noticing and functioning. So you can start working on your telepathy. So you can start working on your deciphering conversations, deciphering the energy around you, and picking up on your telepathy, which I think, I swear to God, I've been doing this for a long time, very, very long time, is like if there's something that I want to say to somebody, but it's like, I don't really want to say that. But if you say it to them in telepathy, then it kind of comes through as their own kind of idea. It's not like you're trying to tell them. So I think telepathy can be effective, but you can't force somebody. Like you could send it to them and they may say, oh, you know what I'm thinking about? And be like, oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then, but if they switch it and then go some other direction, you gotta let it go. They are on their own track, their own learning track. And all you gotta do, I think, is anything that you think about somebody else, think about, well, what if that was done to me? You know, if I'm on my own track of learning and somebody's trying to stop me and make me go in the direction that they want all the time, then that is disruptive. And then it is also disrespectful. It's like, to me, to not know my own journey, which I think is also a part of the problem in our society, because so many people don't know their own journey. They have no fucking clue. And I saw this other video last night. And every time I see these, they always get my brain going. So this lady was talking about, if you want to jump timelines, she's explaining to you how to do it. And this is where it's like, have you been doing this? Like, is this working for you? This is working for you. Or you just think you got a handle on it, so you're telling everybody else how to do it. And so she was saying, like, the same thing as manifesting. Same thing as, like, if you go and listen to Abraham Hicks. And so it's aligning yourself. So you align yourself what it is you want. You reach the vibration of what it is you want. And their thing is the misnomer, the miscommunication, or whatever, the missing link in there, is that they just want to do it through visual. They don't want to do it through action. Well, that is how you actually manifest. You do it through action. You actually go towards the things, and then you have to be open on the path. You can't force a path. You will be forced right out of it, just like where I thought, I was going to have these houses and I was going to retire from being a nurse early. I was going to live in these two houses. Like, I had my whole plan going and it was all gone awry. And then you can't force it. And this is where we have such a confused society, because you have so many people that think that they just want to be rich and famous. That's it. That's my goal in life. I just want to be rich and famous. Wow, that's it. It's like, do you have some talent? Do you have something you want people to admire you for? Or, it's just this vague, no, I just want a lot of money and everybody to like me. That's it. It's like, okay, well, you gotta go deeper into your shit. Like, it's very surface, like, go a little deeper. And so but we have a society that's all there. and they don't give a shit about depth. Just go throw some makeup on, get a wig, do whatever. It's just this total phony, fake, artificial world that has been created, and a lot of people have, enjoyed it. They keep it going. And and they don't realize how bad it is for them, but, that's why you get this awakening time. So you do get to see, how bad this place is for you. And you are the one who has to do something about it. Because I saw this other guy, he was talking, I see his videos sometimes, so I think he's kind of religious. But anyways, I see him to pop up, and so he was saying, oh my God, we're under such attack, I can't believe this. And then he was talking about how stopped up he is. And he said every night when he goes to sleep and he gets up and he's like, it's like concrete. He said they're trying to suffocate us or something, because yesterday I hit my head 2 more times, and it's always on this, like, oh, it's so weird. And they're making sure to hit right in the same fucking spot. And I know it sounds crazy to people. I mean, like, that girl was all paranoid that talking telepathy was just a little too crazy. And I know nobody's gonna believe me and stuff. And it's like, this shit is real. Like, nobody believes it. But these attacks, these spiritual attacks, it is real. It is. And I have been stopped up for a long time. Like, how long can you have allergies, for God's sakes? I mean, like, I'm taking black seed oil, I'm taking this shit, and it just stays stopped up. And sometimes that is way worse. And I think that there's definitely something going on. Like, I have knives, like, all of a sudden sticking up. I have things knocked out of my hands all the time. I have things hitting me all the time. Things fall. It's insane. And so I 100% think, like, I mean, I think, why would they waste their time on somebody who has no spiritual awareness? Like, what would be the point? They're easy target. You scare the shit out of one little thing. But the rest of us who have a spiritual awareness and we're going towards positive, they want to keep causing issues. And so they are trying to keep us in the negative energy. They're trying to keep it alive, like, kind of, yeah, through us. But it's like us, the people with the awareness of it, is has to realize the battle. Like, you have to fight back against the spiritual realm, because, yeah, they are after us in this darker energy. And it's out of desperation to stay current, to stay alive, to stay real. And, oh yeah, that's kind of trippy. Yeah, because when it falls apart, it's kind of like you lose, like, they lose their identity, kind of. Yeah, that's kind of trippy. Like, in the ascension process, so the beings of light who go through experience to expand, they expand, they raise their vibration, they go more and more towards understanding themselves. But the dark energy doesn't go through that process. And so when things end, there's a desperation of them not knowing who or what they are, if they will ever exist again. So it's a true desperation of trying to just stay alive. I mean, it's not like they're trying to outsmart us, because they don't have those abilities, just like these other advanced beings that are in charge of this place, that they who look at us as like emotional misfits. Like, what the hell's wrong with these people? What the fuck do they care? Like, because we're so caught up in the game, but we've been manipulated to be caught up in the game, and there's a purpose to it, and we use it as our souls to our own benefit, and we learn from it, and then we arise, we go up, we expand. And so it's like we always can find the ability, even though there's a lot of people who feel stagnant in their thing, but we can always find the ability to transmute, use it for good. But there is a lot of people who are lost, who don't know how to, is the victim, is staying in the victim pool, staying in the, like, there's no purpose, there's no point, which everybody has a purpose. And so, okay, so this lady, she's like, so you want to jump timelines, you want to go to your best timeline, well, then you just got to think it, so you got to picture it. Okay, right there, mine was not me all of a sudden thinking, I'm going to picture this. No, it was like these pictures came to me. It was like I was being shown my destiny. And what was trippy is it started matching up to other things through my time. Like there was signs, there was things that were being shown to me before in the physical, but then it started coming together. But the visions of purpose came to me. I didn't create them. I didn't sit there and think, what would be my purpose? What could I make a purpose about? Well, I want to be rich and famous, so I gotta make a purpose. Like, it's not like that. And then where you're all of a sudden, well, I want to be rich, so I'm just gonna keep seeing it. I'm gonna picture myself being rich, which I've said before, is completely like a disassociation, but it is like a dissing the universe. It's like you came in for something, and so for you to override, like, I'm not even think about that. This sounds a lot more fun. I'm gonna go with this. And so there is purposes to experiencing poverty, and so to not be present in your experience, and to think that you need to just jump timelines out of it. And because it's different, it's like a process. It's like you going towards something that is calling you, but then it's the journey. It's where you start to have your yellow brick road journey, where the people you come across and meet, and they show you and teach you things. Back there, when you're in the victim thing, it's like a flood. It's like you're just constantly having shit. But then when you start changing the journey, it's like it slows it down, kind of. It's not so chaotic. And you start going towards what it is. It's not just your desires, because I was doing that and ended up with a brain injury in the hospital. As they will put you towards your destiny. You can fight them all you want. You can sit here and think it, and see it. I have thought and saw so many things. I have believed it, and no, that is not the way it goes. And that's from my own personal experience. So that's what I'm saying. These people are always telling you how to do this stuff. It's like, so she said that, so you got to envision it, but you got to really believe it. You got to keep seeing yourself there. You got to see yourself surrounded with the people you would be surrounded with, and all this stuff. And to me, that is not how you do it. That's not how you find your purpose. Your purpose finds you. Your purpose finds you when you begin to look for yourself, when you begin to try and understand yourself, when you begin to try and heal your wounds and let go of shit. Because when you're dragging the past behind you and holding on to anger and resentment, you don't have a lot of time you don't have a lot of energy left over for pursuing your purpose. So it holds you back. It holds you in a stagnation. And so when you start letting go of that stuff and you start focusing on you start going towards your purpose. You start understanding, like why you're here. And going towards that, it takes faith. It takes a belief. And it takes you to take the journey, to take the path, to, enter the yellow brick road at this point and start moving towards the Emerald City. The Emerald City being the point of your best timeline, your castle, your kingdom, and you got to start going towards it. And on the journey, you will definitely meet people or have people that you already know that will think you're kooky. Like, how can you think that's going to happen? Like, that's crazy. It's like, well, I don't know. The universe showed me it was going to happen, so I'm going to just keep going towards it. That's what they told me. So you just keep going towards it. And as the other people, they may snicker. They may think, oh, my God, look at this crazy person. I don't know what the hell they think. Well, that can be a part of their lessons and stuff. It's that you don't have to listen. It's anyone's projection because everything is a bounce back. So what they're putting out is, at this point in time, especially, it has to do with them getting to see that for themselves. So you don't have to buy on to other people's negativity, other people's projections of thinking like, oh no, that's way too magical. No, you got to think small. Think small if you want anything. That's their own stuff. So you got to go towards what it is that you believe. And so, and that is where you can see it because it's up ahead. It's not like you see it because you're trying to force it and force your brain to see it and believe it so you can get there because you're just going to jump into it as soon as you get there. It's like life is about the journey, and it's about the building the relationship with yourself and your through your faith and through your through your divinity and through your pathway of realizing that it's there for you, that all these people that you interact with are there to teach you, to help you find yourself, not so that you can go along your path. Oh, I'll fix you in a minute. I've got you. I'll fix you too. And you're just going through, well, they're broken. I'm healed, so I can fix them. Well, I can fix them too. But, it's what they are bringing up in you is the thing that you want to focus on. Not what's wrong with them and not what's wrong with them and not what's wrong with that guy over there. You want to focus on how whatever it is that they make you feel, that is your gift, that is your challenge, that is your specific thing of what you were there. So this thing inside of you could be triggered so that you could look at it deeper, so you could release something. And so all of this releasing, all this growing, and all these challenges along your path is what gets you to the point of receiving what you're here to receive. Like, it all goes together. And so when they're saying, like, you're supposed to just skip it, you're supposed to just think it. Like, what a bunch of fucking time, too. Instead of living your life, you're just going to think it into reality. I'm just going to sit here and think it, think it, think it. I mean, you spend a lot of fucking time thinking it. I've tried it before. You cannot think a reality into it. And I think that it has been shown to us so many times. What was the one I was thinking about? Well, Jesus Christ, the fucking, the solar flash back in 2016 or 2017. Like, we had a ton of people who was very focused on that. We thought it was about to go. And why didn't we make it go then? We all believed it. We all saw it. We all were sure. So why didn't it happen? Because it's destiny. It's because things have a certain way and place to play out. And there was a lot of us that had to learn stuff from that, to see. The things I think I saw was dates. And then it's like, but dates don't really matter because the universe isn't on our calendar, and we're trying to get everything onto our calendar, like, so that we can understand it. But really, it's like we've got to let go of those concepts of time and timing and birthdays and all that stuff. You got to look at it more of this window slot, and it's what occurs in that slot, that time slot. And so to me, that is what the lifetime is about, is it the journey. And for me, I was fortunate enough to get the experience of the duality of the purpose of me, of being in the negative and then realizing it and then being able to pull myself out of it and go towards the positive and to do the work to do it, to get there. And so I can talk about that, and I don't believe that I was supposed to just sit there which, believe me, I tried it because, I had a lot of time on my hands at points in time of being in isolation. So I tried a lot of different things, and I tried through visuals to make things happen and stuff. I believed them. I believe this stuff. Like, I 100%. Like, the future, what they have shown me, I believe it because it's just constantly shown to me. So I believe it. And it's going to have to be a different one's going to be shown to me to get me off of this one, because this is the one that they've shown me. So if I'm going in the wrong direction, well, what I have found when I'm going in the wrong direction before, they'll knock you out of it. They'll knock you down. They'll take you out of that direction and put you in a different direction. As that has happened to me already. But so that's when I got the brain injury. You know, I was sure I was going in the right direction. I was doing the right things and stuff. And then my whole life flipped upside down because I wasn't going in the right direction. I was going in the wrong direction. I wasn't listening. I was medicating myself. I'm running to the doctor. Give me more, doc. I got insurance. Give me as many as you got. And so, you know, I was self-medicating. I was a workaholic. I was distracted. I was distracted through drama. I was distracted through my own, my own pettiness. I had my own issues, you know. And so I had my own dramas going, because that's what that cesspool of dark energy is. You're just in a cesspool of negativity, of just bullshit. But you just don't realize when you're in it that it's there to teach you to get the fuck out of it. And how long it takes you to figure it out is how long it takes you to figure it out. But it's the development stages, it's what you need. And it's like they constantly, like these people, constantly, they keep wanting to skip all the development stages. Like the soul is supposed to just jump from one happy thing to the next happy thing, which I don't get these. You know, like I've said before, when you go in the higher vibration, there is no in between like that. You don't have to go through all, you know, sad things and loss. I mean, who are you going to lose? You're all in, you're all in the heavens together. And I think that we have each other there no matter what. That it's more of a focus. And so we can focus our energy to an experience. But this is all an illusion, and it's so trippy how many people don't realize this is an illusion. They don't realize, like, I'm glad that people are saying, because I heard somebody else say, I've heard this a lot lately, but this is important, is that people think that they are their body with, you know, soul possibly, but no, you are a soul. You are the soul, just like what I was saying yesterday when I had come out of my body. I've said this so many times, but when I came out of my body, that was when I realized, this is me. This is me. This is the whole me. I can think, I can move, I can do all this stuff, and I don't need that body to do it. And I still feel like myself. I don't need that brain to think or remember anything. I don't need those fingers. I don't need any of that stuff. I still feel the same. And that is just like a spacesuit. It's like a glove. It's like putting on something. So this isn't real. But you are the thing that you think is alive. That is you. That part of you comes out of this part of you. And so it's just two different parts of you. This part is an illusion. And this part, the illusion, is like the avatar in the game. It's like an avatar to experience this experience in this window of time, this time slot. And so you go through this metamorphosis of being, or whatever, this light show, whatever this fucking, but ourselves in our true form, like our orbs are up in the heavens, like we're always interacting with each other. We could go to different places, and it's like just like we shapeshift. We could go someplace, and you know, you could go someplace and look like different aspects of yourself. Like you wouldn't just look like you, because you're a whole bunch of different beings. You're a whole bunch of different people. So it's kind of like you can put that, it's almost like you can shapeshift or look how you want to look. But there's also places that you got to have certain bodies or whatever. So like if you went and you were going to go into the ocean or something, so you would need like an aquatic body. You wouldn't go in just as yourself. See what I mean? Like you have to have something that can be in that realm. And so, and that's, you know, kind of like what we are. But this is like, it's so weird because how unreal this place is and how real it is to so many people. But I don't know, it's through this process of all this, you connect to your soul. So to me, like, and I was talking, all ever since I was little, but there was definitely a part, either I wasn't listening or I was disconnected, but whatever happens, it's supposed to happen. So I was supposed to go through that part of confusion. And because I kept on thinking, why is the universe doing this to me? Why? Why can't, like, I find true love? Why is it always these toxic relationships and stuff? I couldn't understand it because it didn't seem like it was what I was putting out. But it was, I still had my own toxic tendencies that I needed to heal because it was still me looking for something outside of me. When you can find what you need inside of you, that's when things can change. You don't have to be dependent on all these relationships and it's creating all this toxic energy around yourself out of trying to control how people see you, or it's just a whole thing. It's a trade-off all the time. You're always playing this game. And but really, you don't want to try and balance the game with some other player. You want to balance the game in yourself. So you want to find your own peace of mind. But I'm telling you, I would not get all caught up in these people who keep saying that you just think something into being. Like I said, that is a higher realm thing, and maybe we're going to go into realms where we're going to do that. Maybe that's going to be a part of what we're going to be doing. But in this part where you're trying to leave, it's not going to benefit you if you can just jump out of it and go into a positive one. You got to take the journey. You got to take the steps, because in the steps is the development of self. And in the process is when you are discarding the parts of you that is the old, it's the debris, it's the stuff that you don't need anymore, it's your anger, your resentment. How are you going to process that stuff if you're just jumping around? And so how are you going to let go of it? And it's up to you. And so I think that is the beneficial practice that people need to ascertain, go towards, is this process of looking at yourself, which I'm telling you, this time of mirrors is going to be where people are going to only be able to see themselves, this time of reflection, and it's coming. And because that is a big part of this. And if you're doing it ahead of time, then you are benefiting yourself, and you probably have a certain kind of role to play. But you got to still be going towards that. Even if it's in confusion, you're not even sure what your purpose is, it will start to clarify itself. It will start to become clear to you. The people you'll meet, the certain things, that will open up, the doors that will open up to you will open naturally. You don't have to go around beating on doors trying to get somebody to open them up because you're sure this is what your timeline is. No, you got to go through the process of releasing the old self and go towards the new self, and then let the new self start to reveal itself to you. If you feel lost, like if you don't know what your purpose is, and if you do know what your purpose is, and it's probably something wacky to most people, you got to go towards it and have faith and believe in yourself and go towards what it is that you feel guided to go towards. But that's where people have got to get more set in their, going towards their destined path and trying to create their own destiny, because it is, to me, we have a path that's laid out for us, and you can spend your whole life kicking and screaming and trying to force a path that you think would be a lot more fun and a lot more exciting. But it's because you're not seeing it from a higher perspective, and you're only seeing the good parts. And everything has more than one part. Everything has dark and light. So even if a life seems like, oh, that would be fun and exciting, it's going to have a dark side to it. And you just don't know because you're not in the experience. But you have an experience that's waiting for you. You have an experience that you signed up for, an experience that is being laid out for you. But you distract yourself and then you fight against it. And see, and that's where you would find your lessons. When you went to the life review, you would relook at your own communication, your own resistance, your own inability to go with the flow and stuff. And that would be not like you did something wrong. It would be like, then you could see it and then you could capture it and take it into another life. But then you have still where people are having difficulty going from life to life and taking that stuff because these the blockages. So it gets them to be really restricted in their perspective. And so that's going to cause more confusion and stuff. But this is the time of clarity. This is the time of you clearing out all the confusion. And that's going to take you going into a spiritual kind of endeavor, to look at, somebody's growling like crazy, to look at your past lives and stuff, to try and understand yourself more at your core, more of who you are in the depth of self, not what you look like or how much you weigh or how tall you are, or what color your hair is, but more of who you are, what your character is, what your integrity, what your morals, who you are, who you are on the inside. And so that is that's the part that you're working on. And that's, where you release a lot of stuff, where you see the error of your ways of being superficial and shallow and how really unimportant it is. It's like you're going to spend all your time just on unimportant things, shallow shit like that through your life. Well, that would be a lesson by the time you got to the end of like, what a fucking waste that was. But see, that's judgmental because everything has a purpose. So no matter what, no matter if somebody seems like, oh my God, that's so shallow, that's so, and they seem like, what a waste. Why don't you focus on something that has depth to it? But really, that's their own lessons. Anything that people do, that's their own stuff. We're not meant to go and try and get everybody to think the same or do the same thing. We should be able to all be free to have the experience we're here to experience. The challenge to me is for people to start getting into their own experience, to stop judging, stop paying attention to all this stuff, to just really fall into their own track, their own ride, to stop going around pounding on doors, trying to force things to happen, and instead to relax and let things happen naturally, and seeing the blessings that come your way in the direction that that gives you in your life, where the doors that open lead you to right where it's going to be the most fulfilling to your soul. And so that's, what your purpose, because then you're fulfilling what your destiny is, what you came here for. So it's going to be the most fulfilling to the inside, you're going to feel the best. When you're out there trying to force things and you're pounding, you're going to feel rejected, resentful, down, because you're trying to force things that aren't supposed to be. And you're sitting there just spending all your time trying to envision the life you want. But is it the life that you're meant to lead? That's where you've got to find your own ability to decipher between your desires and your destiny. And because there's two different things. Because like I thought I had a perfectly fine destiny planned. I thought I had it all worked out, and then it turned everything in my life upside down, and I was told, for a long time on my path where it was going to be headed. It's just I couldn't understand it. I couldn't see it. It's like, how in the world do I get there? Like, how would that make sense? And so I just, I had to go with the flow, but that doesn't mean I was flowing with the energy. I was constantly trying to force things or fight things. That's where this has been a challenge for me to learn how to allow things to reveal themselves, just allow things to happen. Because I've definitely been somebody who tried to force things. And what I can see about trying to force things is it's due to fear, or it's due to pressures, three-dimensional pressures, where, well, this is what you should be doing. And we start feeling, well, that's what we should do. We better be doing this. And so the more that you can just learn to relax and let the ride take you where it's going is more productive, I believe. And there's another thing coming into my mind, just a second. Going with the flow, but there was something over here. Well, I can't think of it, but over here was where the whole thing of just envision the life you want and stuff. But it shouldn't be where you're having to force it. The visions should start coming to you, but they shouldn't be like you're trying to see them. But they're also the visions that you have to hold on to, kind of like affirmations, to remind yourself that you're not going in a strange direction. You're going in the direction that you're being led. And so you have to kind of use your visions as your motivation, kind of to keep you going. Like, okay, this is real, I can see it. And so, and then however it plays out is how it plays out. Like, what happens, happens. And there's going to be a way it's going to play out. And it is so much, what is that saying? The life happens when people are trying to plan it, when people are trying to, create, but life happens on its own. It's like you can be trying to do something, but it's going to just be happening, and it's going to intersect. You're trying to force this, but something else is coming up behind. And so it's way more of the realization of like, oh, I'm trying to force this. All I got to do is sit here and wait. This thing's going to catch up with me, and I'm going to see where I'm supposed to be. I'm going to see what my path is, and not get so distracted to realize wherever you are in the here and now, there's a purpose to it. And to me, it can be a cleansing. It can be a seeing things and stuff. It can be, leaving an energetic imprint also for other people. And so, and that's not forcing somebody. That's just you being true to you, being comfortable with you, not having to be in those toxic push and pulls, not having to conform, but be confident in yourself. That kind of stuff ripples out, and that helps other people to learn to be comfortable in themselves. The more comfortable you can be, the more that we go into situations and trying to please the other people, that shows a lack of confidence. Like, we don't believe in ourselves. We don't trust ourselves. We just want to be something that they will appreciate, or that they would want us to be, or whatever. But it's so much better for everybody when you get comfortable enough to be your own self. So when you can be your own self, that ripples out and makes people feel comfortable to be them own selves, and that just keeps going and going. And that's what we want, is a world where people are free to be themselves and free to figure out what their destiny is, to experience life, to go through the process of experience to get to the point of where they're going to be, because everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Death doesn't happen by accident. Your life doesn't happen by accident. Everything has a time and a place, and you're here as the experiencer to go through it, because there's a benefit to the growth or the expansion of self. And so it is something that we appreciate. It's not something we run from. And so anyways, I wanted to also say that, okay, so on the Department of Education, so we got the people who are freaking out. Just remember that he's going to dismantle the things. I get disappointed when he starts saying, oh, we're going to fix it, make it better. I say that we're not going to want all of this government influence. Like, the government was the creation of control. And so we're going to be moving out of that. There's going to be, however, the step down process is, because you can see people freaking out. Like, he's trying to stop education, trying to stop insurance, he's trying to stop this, he's trying to stop that. He's trying to put a stop to the corruption. He's trying to put the stop to the money laundering problem. And so he's doing us a favor. And we're going to put all this stuff back. Like there's all this stuff coming out, like kids in Baltimore don't know how to read. And it's like because the education system has been failing them. On one of those podcasts that my mom watches, I saw this one guy talking about that him and his mom and his grandma were both teachers, and this is something I had talked about too, and I had and they and he said that the biggest thing was that they all tried to just teach the basics. That's what, it was math, reading, phonics. Like, as soon as I heard that they weren't teaching phonics anymore, I was like, what in the hell? What? And then they were like, well, they're teaching word recognition. It's like, yeah, but if you've never seen the word, how are you going to figure it out? Like, there's lots of words. You need to know how to do phonics. You need to know how to sound the word out. Like, there's so many words. Like, how can you teach somebody to notice every single word like that? And you do have so many kids now who are like, what's this word? What's this word? Because they haven't fucking taught them how to sound out fucking, like, that was absurd. I couldn't believe that. I knew that was going to be a big old fucking fail. And it is. And so, but they used to teach the basics, which is all a kid needs to know. It needs to know how to figure shit out. It's just like to stoke the fire, get their brain working in creative mode. And so teaching them to read and write and in math, in simple math. We don't all, like, if a kid is gifted in math and they want to go in certain directions of calculus and geometry and shit like that, then that is a part of their destiny. It's going to be easy for them. But to force it on everybody else, I mean, you got artists in there and they're trying to force them into knowing this, and it's absurd. It's no recognition of what the being is good at or what they are here to experience. And so but he was saying now that they're not teaching any of those basic things anymore. It's like they're disregarded that. But that's why we got to go back. And that's why I said that these people who are all caught up in like, well, I don't know how to teach my kids. Why do you have to teach them all this shit? Like, our history was fake. Our civic, they should have been teaching us that we were living in a corporation. Like, there was a whole bunch of shit that we were being taught. It was like pointless, useless shit, just to fill up our motherfucking time and tell us that we needed it, and we didn't. And yeah, if you find history interesting, but you're not going to find the history they offer interesting because it's all built on fucking lies. Their science is lies, every fucking thing. And so but when people, like when he's saying he's gonna give this 10K to each person, each kid, that their family's gonna get that for their education purposes, so that you can put him in private schools if you want, or you can hire tutors, or you can take that money and you can go out and teach them yourself. And there's not going to be all the restrictions on homeschooling as there was. And so you can do whatever kind of education you want. But there's going to be more of a respect too towards kids. There's going to be the people falling away and stuff are going to be people that don't have respect for where we're going. And where we're going is having respect for one another and taking our roles more seriously. And so parents, and I feel like there's a black spot there, parents taking it more seriously, not just like, well, I'm going to get that money. They can learn on their own. Like these people who put their kids in cages and shit like that, that stuff's going to be going away. That kind of behavior is going to be a thing of the past. It's going to be like sad stories that we'll talk about. But people are going to take it a lot more. They're going to put a lot more weight into the things that priorities, the better things that matter. And so they're going to want to be proud of how, their kid's intelligence and stuff and what their kid knows and stuff. But also it's not trying to force what it is you want them to know. It's being able to see, like, where do they lean? Where do they lean into this? They lean into that, and open those doors for them, if they really are so interested in music and stuff. Go towards getting them lessons in music. That's going to be valuable. And knowing how to read and write is, and are we even going to need to know how to read and write at some point? Or are we just going to be all talking through telepathy and we're not going to be reading and writing shit? And so, I don't know, but I think that the basic stuff to teach our kids, that like us adults, like the kids that are coming out now, they wouldn't be able to teach their kids. But those of us who went through the system before, when they were teaching that, we can pass that on to our kids. We can teach our kids. But they got so many people so distracted trying to fill their needs outside of themselves and outside their families, and working too hard, just all sorts of things that are out, which gets them in the toxic pool. And it's the destruction of the families. And so we got to get more back to the basics, more back to feeling good, of doing positive things for your kids, that being in service. You had your kids, and trying to bring them up to be good citizens. That's going to be a lot more productive, and than trying to, run around and find the perfect corporate job and lose that, like, the bullshit out there. And so I just think that people need to realize that you don't have to know a zillion things to be able to teach your kids basic stuff. And all they need to do is find the basic steps, and then find the road to themselves, figure themselves out, the path, their destiny, what they're here to experience. And I think a lot of kids are going to be a lot more focused. They're going to have a lot more understanding of what their desires are. Like, you've got all these little fucking savants out there, these little fucking musicians, these little, all sorts of stuff, like these fucking kids singing like angels. Like, you got all sorts of things where people are going to just go into what they came here to do. And it's not going to be the same. It's going to be a lot harder for a lot of the people who were going in the wrong directions to find themselves. But that's what you have this path for. That's what you have this journey for, is to find yourself. So don't feel like, well, I've just got to focus on my perfect life, and then it will just be there. No, you got to go through the destined path to get to where it is you're going. And but the other thing too is, like, when you're seeing things and stuff on the news and stuff, just keep in mind that they're trying to distract, create emotional. I mean, it's like they're paid to create division. But oh yeah, there was some weird stuff going on in Florida. I'd seen some fires and then blocking off, but then I heard that there's something with the ships. And then over Mississippi, there was a weird little thing that has been caught with some ship. There's all sorts of shit being caught in the thing, in the skies. And that is going to become more and more, because that is to keep showing us and opening us up. Like, people are so scared of what we are. Like, they're scared of their telepathy. They're scared of ghosts. They're scared of aliens. They're scared of this. They're scared of... That's all just regular. It's nothing to be scared of. And all this stuff has been there the whole time. Like, there's been people who have been using telepathy to speak without all of these other people even knowing it. I've been speaking in telepathy ever since I was a really little kid. And there's lots of people that just, like, are fearful of all this stuff and don't believe it. It's like, well, there's those of us who have been doing it, so it's real. And then being scared of, like, spirits and stuff. There's nothing to be scared about with spirits. And that also to realize, like, there's not monsters in the sky, just like there's not a guy up in the clouds sitting there judging you. There's not monsters up in the sky that are waiting to take you over. There's not devils that are outsmarting you. There's a dark energy that's desperate to stay alive. And there's these beings that are in control, but they've lost their control. To me, it's like they've all been taken down, and that this is to show us, though. This is to show us where we were, because we couldn't see it when it was happening. So now it has to be, like, played out for us. And it's tedious. It's definitely tedious, especially if you already know this stuff. And it's like, oh my God, it's just kind of slow and tedious. And so, I don't know. Oh yeah, there was weird shit also. They already got the space mission up there and back. So this is a 1.5-day mission that Biden, NASA, none of these, oh no, that's just too big a mission. We can't be bothered with that. This is such a show. I don't know what they're trying to show us at this point, but it's a show. But so they got these people up there stranded for 9 months. Like, how are they getting food and shit? But there was people who were watching the radar, And so it was all these planes going. You see all these planes, but all of a sudden the rocket just shows up, and then it goes in and it starts doing circles. Just starts doing circles. Like, I think so much stuff is just nonsense. It's bullshit. It's not real. There's so much stuff that's just not real. And I don't know. Like, I thought it was weird when they're saying this thing's 250 miles away. It doesn't sound very far. Like, tomorrow morning, I'm going to be driving that to go to see my daughters. It's like, and it's a day and a half mission. And it took them all this time and all this. And Elon had to come to the rescue. And then he gets people so pissed that they start blowing up whole fucking Tesla buildings and shit. Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what's up with the chaos. I just know where we're going. I know what we're here to do, and I know where we're going, and the road to get there is, it's a shaky, rocky road. But it's supposed to shake things up. It's supposed to get people to look deeper, to go deeper, to see things more. So anyways, all this stuff works together. The more things in the sky, the more experiences people are having, the more there's such a big part with this, the illusion, and the people being misled in the illusion. And that is going to be a big part of this part with this awakening, because all these people who, and I don't think it's a huge amount of people as what they make us think it is, but the people who are, like, I would guess, say, like the TDS people, the people who are being very misled through the programming, and they are just being triggered through their derangement syndrome. So they just keep triggering them, and the people are, freaking out and falling apart. But they're going to see the truth. They're going to have a time of reflection to see themselves, and then to try and understand themselves, like how they got themselves in that position, how that all went down and stuff. So there is, and to me, that's the snap. That's this sudden wake up thing that's going to occur. This sudden, where, you see things one way, but then all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you see things totally different. Well, a lot of us already had that happen. We already went through our awakening. But that's the crazy thing about the awakening. There's a lot of stuff to awaken to. And there's so many people who awoken to certain parts, but they didn't keep on going. They didn't go, they just kind of got hung up on something, hung up on some fear, hung up on, is this going to happen? Are we going to be stuck? We got to watch it every second, make sure. It's like, no, we are definitely going into this other thing. But there's so many people who think what all these different things are happening. There's people who are still waiting, for the big guy is going to just come on down and take them with him. So we have a lot of different, and why hasn't that happened? You have a whole group of people who have believed it so hard. They have pictured it. So why didn't, that's their best timeline. What the hell happened? Why isn't this working? This thing that these people keep saying. As far as I'm concerned, it has to do with destiny. It has to do with the rides you came to experience, and the distractions to get you off that ride, and to pull yourself back onto your own ride, your own experience, and get the benefits from it, and get the benefits of what you came here for and what you came here to do, because it's going to make you feel the most solid in yourself, the most complete, the most fulfilled, is, reaching your own plateau, your own destiny, what you came for, and not distracting yourself, not getting caught up in dramas, not getting caught up, because there's lots of entanglements, lots of soul entanglements. That's one thing too, in that pool, you have a lot of soul entanglements. So you have these relationships that from other lives, they had certain patterns, and so then you come into this one, these people interact back into your life, and then you're trying to break these same patterns. And so it's very significant, I'm telling you, to get out of the cesspool of victim mentality, that hateful lava, sassy pool of defeat. So anyways, let me think. Okay, so we got all this shit that they're saying is going. We have real things that are going. They're ending these things. You have these people who think that, He's just, killing people, Holocaust, like it's so absolute crazy. Then we have real things going on in the physical. We have ships all over the place. So things are heating up. People are feeling it all inside of them too. I saw a girl yesterday who was saying, man, this energy, it's so heavy. Oh my God, I know. Like, Jesus Christ. I swear to God, I always get this vision of like when you had like a big old wad of bubble gum and you chewing it and fell out and got on the ground and you pick it up and then you're like trying to decide if you're going to eat it. At some point, sometimes you just pick the dirt out and stick it back in your mouth. But how the dirt is in the gum and how it's stuck. That's how I see these two energies. It's like, just like we're trying to pull the dirt out of the gum right now, but it's going to separate. It's going to happen naturally. It's not something that we can force, or it's not something we can jump out, and go from this. To me, if you're gonna jump out of it, it's like you're jumping out of this reality. I saw this one girl, spiritual person, talking, and she was saying it's so weird how these people are always saying that they want to get out of the matrix, but you create your own world, you create your own life, and they're trying to get out of it. Which I can see on some point is because, yeah, they just think like, well, I need to just think myself into a good place instead of just going and experience what you're here to experience. So anyways, there's a lot more to the spiritual. There's a lot more to this reality. There's a lot more to destiny. There's a lot more to a lot of stuff. And so the awakening, there's going to be more aha moments, but there's definitely going to be some aha moments that are going to be huge. They're going to be spectacular for people. It's going to be their first one. Their first, oh my God, they're going to see it for the first time. And so that to me is this big clap of the awakening, like a big clap of thunder. And when a whole bunch of people, oh, okay, because these people who see it for the first time, and it's like this magnetic clap thing, but it's these people over here that see it happen for these people is what gets them to get out of their stagnation in their awakening. And so it's going to pull them into seeing more. And probably because there's a big part of it where, they think like, oh, they're NPCs, they're never going to wake up. It's like they don't understand what's happening here in this world. And everything that holds you back from seeing is three-dimensional. It's like trying to make sense of it. Stop trying to make sense of everything and let things be. And you'll just start seeing, this, like I've said, the spiritual is a lot more vague. It's a lot more vast. Quit trying to make sense of it, because that is the three-dimensional concept of what you need to understand existence is the three-dimensional, and that's why you go into this lower density to experience what it means to what these things mean. Like it's like not being able to fulfill the concept of having a family unless you have a dollhouse and you get the dolls to go around and play with the dolls in the dollhouse. Then you can understand how it works. Not being able to conceptualize things. So that is the kind of relieving yourself. So when the programming wants to pull you back into the three-dimensional program of trying to make sense, how does this work? How does that work? You gotta let go of that stuff and be like, well, in the soul world, in the spiritual world, things are magical. I think there's magic out there. And so just keep opening your mind. Quit trying to make it make sense. Quit trying to explain things to people, like if they don't get it, they'll get it. Like, don't feel bad because you had telepathy and that you take it for real serious and that other people think it's silly. Don't go with what the other people think. Go with what you think. And you think like, oh, I believe this telepathy thing. I believe I can, then go with it. That girl was crying and stuff, and she was so worried about being judged and everything, and she's so crazy. It's like, this is not crazy stuff. Like, it's not crazy at all. How can people be so stuck in this, thinking everything's so crazy? So, anyways, let go of whatever it is that, that keeps you from just letting the world be crazy. Just let it be crazy. Be considered crazy. Who cares? Like, the more crazy you are, the more open you are to the truth, as far as I'm concerned. The people who are trying to hold on to their sanity and make things make sense, it is, keeps you in the trap. And it keeps you trapped in the dollhouse. You keep trying to, make it make sense. Make it make sense. Let it go. Let go, let things happen naturally, let it all fall apart, because it's all going to put itself back together again. And let the cycles play out. Let the shit happen that's supposed to happen. And it's going to keep happening. And it's got to be, like I said, I'm always surprised at how close it feels and how it adds on another day and another day. And so I don't know. There's still supposedly this 322, which I don't know if it's moon, sun, I don't know what the fuck 322 is supposed to be about. Some kind of, it's going to be a new, what is that called? Well, they're always saying portals and stuff, but a new alignment in the stars or whatever, which I kind of feel like that's a part of our Truman Show too. Like, I don't know. There's a lot of shit. So, anyways, just let things play out. Just don't wrap yourself up too tight. This is more the unraveling of yourself and getting comfortable when you don't have a lot to hold on to. And the people who need a lot to hold on to, it's out of fear. And so, anyways, we're going to watch this all, fall apart. It's all going to blow up in people's faces. And there's going to be people who are super toxic that are going to not be going forward. They're not going to go forward. And, I would advise everybody to work on themselves, work on letting go of judgment and learning how to love yourself and to love everybody and how to have a loving day, because it is totally up to you. And you'll see when you get there. So, anyways, I'll talk to you later. Bye.